Hello and good morning. Oh my God, it is 4:31 in the morning. I got so mad. I couldn't go back to sleep because I was just so angry at the entire situation. But you know what? I'm gonna go into I'm gonna go into energy vampires. What is an energy vampire? The signs of an energy vampire. We have our own ways of seeing an energy vampire. What I see an energy vampire is somebody that takes your energy. They drain your energy. They give you bad luck. Like when you're around the person, it's like they take all of your blessings, all of your good luck. Like everything just stops. Like nothing comes through. Everything used to always come through. They stop coming through. You lose your opportunities. You start losing your money. Like what? Start losing your money? Like that's like a big red flag. But people, they don't want to pay attention to these signs. You're always gonna get signs. You're always gonna get warnings. You're always gonna know. You are gonna know. You just gotta pay attention. A lot of people don't want to pay attention. They think they're in love, and it's just like, oh my God, like they can't be this dumb. I don't know how else to say it. Like you can't be this dumb. And then it's like, sex is not everything. I know when you're young and you start having sex, and then sex is like the greatest thing ever, and it's like, oh my God. And then it's like, but then you have to realize, is it love? Is it love, or is it just sex? Like if it's just sex, then you have to put your priorities first, and you cannot prioritize sex. Like sex should be the last thing on your mind if you don't got your shit together. Get your shit together, get your life together. But I'm gonna go into energy vampires. I found 4 articles that will go into it in depth, you know, because I could have my own way. Like I know an energy vampire when I see one, and when I'm like, oh well, no, I'm not wasting my time. But people, when you're young and you don't know, you don't know what's out here. Like these people ain't shit. But then you want to waste your time and you want to give them a chance, and it's like, yo, like you need to see this shit for what it is. But they don't want to see, so it's like, so I'm gonna talk about it. Energy vampire. Like this is I googled this part, but it's people who drain your emotional energy, whether intentionally or not. You're feeling emotionally drained after talking with a friend, colleague, or family member. So it doesn't always have to be a lover. It could be anyone. Anyone in general, anyone that you're around, a friend, colleague, anybody. You gotta pay attention to this shit. People also ask, how can you tell if someone is an energy vampire? Energy vampires are extremely self-centered and always want to be the center of attention. They dominate the conversation and ensure the focus is always on themselves. If someone else brings up a different topic, they find a way to one up them and bring the attention back to themselves. They're like so self-centered. How do you deflect an energy vampire? Deflect. How do you get rid of them? How do you set? Well, here's a few things, like setting boundaries. Call on the power of your crystals. That's if you have crystals. Like I think this is the only thing I wear, like the moldavite stone. It's like a nugget. It's a nugget, but it wards off everything. Like it's good for everything. The use of essential oils, you need protection. Like you have to protect yourself from energy vampires, because it's a real thing. Like people really are like this. People really do this, and they just have you all the way fucked up, and then you don't even know. It's like you have to cleanse your energy. Cleanse the energy of your space. That's cleanse your space. Clean your room, clean your house, clean your space, clean your body. You create physical barriers. Use cord cutting meditations is another one. Those are, you can probably look those up online. Also, cord cutting rituals. And continue to be light. Let's like always stay a good person, because when you're dealing with the energy vampire, they make you change and they make you be just like them. And they're the fucking worst. But and the last one is to end it. Like just end the entire relationship. That's how you can get rid of them. It's like you just have to end things. Like stop being their friend. Like you don't gotta be everybody's friend. Like, are energy vampires narcissists? An energy vampire never likes to be outdone. So like you can't be better than them and you can't do good at something. You can't, if they aren't keen to share the spotlight, this is one of their many narcissistic tendencies. They struggle to feel genuine happiness for another person. Instead, they prefer to pull the energy to feed their emotional demands. They usually get jealous of you. Like when you're doing well in your life, they get jealous. It's just crazy. And then when you don't want to see it for what it is, like this is what it is. You know, it's just hard to talk to a person and tell them to be careful or try to warn them. And then they'll be like, oh, you're jealous or you're mad or you're just hating or you don't want to see me happy. And it's like, bitch, like you don't see this shit. Like you don't see this shit. You lose all your opportunities. You're always broke, always angry, always upset, always mad, always crying, always depressed. It's like, he was never like this. But you know, these are signs. And then it's like you give people time to figure shit out on their own, and they don't even figure this shit out. Like, yo, like this is what you dealing with. But 5 signs of an energy vampire and how to cope. This one is an article. It's verywellmind.com. 5 Signs of an Energy Vampire and How to Cope by Sanjana Gupta. She must be Indian. Dated on April 4th, 2023. So this is new. This is fairly new. This is like right now. Right there. Right there. But it's fairly new article. So energy vampires are people who sap your emotional energy either intentionally or unconsciously. They could be friends, family members, partners, colleagues, or your neighbors who feed on your care and attention and leave you feeling stressed, drained, exhausted, and overwhelmed. And you're just trying to help. You're just trying to help them. You're trying to be there for them. You're trying to listen to them. They don't give a fuck. They just want your energy. Relationships with energy vampires are often toxic. They can cause you to feel physically and emotionally drained, particularly if you're an empath and highly attuned to the emotions of the people around you. This article explores the types of energy vampires, the signs and characteristics of energy vampires, and some strategies that can help you protect yourself. What are the different types of energy vampires? Energy vampires can take different shapes and forms, such as, it sucks, you know, it just sucks. But they could take the shape of a victim. They could act like the victim, like they're always the victim now. Some people enjoy playing the victim card, and they're always ready with a new sob story. Like they want you to feel sorry for them and shit. About a perceived slight. They are innocent, but the whole world is always against them. They tend to complain often and loudly about their problems. They have all these problems, but they blame everyone else. They blame everyone else for their problems. They don't take accountability for anything. It's always somebody else's fault why things are not working out the way that it's supposed to for them. But that's when they're playing the victim card. The other one is the criticizer. Some people spend a lot of time and energizing energy criticizing other people, things, and situations. Nothing is ever good enough for them, and they can't find fault with they can find fault with just about anything. So it's like they're always criticizing, always complaining, that nothing's ever good enough. They're never like happy, they're never satisfied. It's like there's always a problem. They criticize everything. Like you could do everything right, and they still find ways, they still find faults in it. That's the criticizer. The dramatizer. They must love drama. Some people create and attract a lot of drama. They always seem to be in the midst of a major catastrophe and often need your help and support. The dramatizer. They love drama. They like problems, to be stressed out. They like all that. It's always some mess, and then you always gotta be there to help them and support them and be like, it's gonna be okay, it's all right, and da-da-da. You know, the dramatizer, the manipulator. Some people are able to manipulate just about any situation to their advantage. They rarely say what they mean and usually have a hidden agenda. Manipulator. That means they always manipulate the situation to their favor. So they know how to sweet talk you, to make things. It's like to trick you into siding with them when you know you should not be siding with them, but then they trick you to side with them. They're manipulating you. They're tricking you. They're like, you know, and you gotta pay attention. You gotta pay attention to this shit. The negative thinker. Some people always see the glass as half empty and have very negative attitude towards life. They can always be counted on to point out the downside or potential risk without leaving any room for hope or excitement. That's the negative mindset. Like they're always negative. They never look at the positive side of things. Like they always look at the downside of things. Like I'm always super positive. I'm like, stay positive, stay in a high vibration. But this dude, this energy vampire, they're like always negative. Nothing ever goes right. There's always a problem, or something can always happen, or it can always go south. And it's like, yo, be positive. Like, and then you're just trying to be positive around negative energy. It's just like, it just doesn't mix, you know? Another one is the blamer. Some people are quick to place blames on others. They never at fault, never their fault, but always willing to hand out heaps of shame and guilt. So they always know how to make you feel guilty, make you feel ashamed. If you speak up for yourself, it's like you're wrong for even speaking up for yourself. It's like, it's just so many things that there's so many different types of energy vampires. So you have the victim, the criticizer, the dramatizer, the manipulator, the negative thinker, the blamer. What are some signs of an energy vampire? These are some of the signs of an energy vampire. So they always want to be the center of attention. They want all the attention for themselves. Energy vampires are extremely self-centered. Like all they care about is themselves and always want to be the center of attention. They dominate the conversation and ensure the focus is always on themselves. If someone else brings up a different topic, they find a way to one-up them and bring the attention back to themselves. For instance, they might say, that sounds like a nice trip. It reminds me of the time I went to Hawaii. Nothing can compare to how beautiful it was. Let me show you all the pictures. So, and then it's like, you're talking about, let's go on a trip or let's go do something. And then they talk about themselves on the trip that they went to. And it's like, they don't even give you a chance to, you know, talk about your trip or where you want to go. They start talking about themselves. I can't believe you almost got mugged. Like, this is another one. Did I tell you about the time someone tried to shoot me in the subway? Like, like you just got mugged, and then they change it to focus on themselves. They tried to shoot me in the subway, and it's like you just got mugged. Like somebody just mugged you, and then they like disregard whatever happened to you, and they start talking about themselves again. That's always wanting to be the center of attention. Like they never really listen to what you have to say. They always talk about themselves. They exaggerate everything. Energy vampires tend to exaggerate every little thing that happens to them, making mountains out of molehills. They make everything sound much bigger, better, or worse than it actually is. For instance, they might say, everybody else caught tiny fish, but mine is as big as a house. Like everybody caught tiny fish. So they're trying to make it seem like everybody else did like such a bad job. Like they caught the tiniest fish and he caught the biggest one. Like, oh my God. My body temperature was 99 Fahrenheit last night. It was so bad, I thought I was gonna die. Like, oh my God, like exaggerating the body temperature. Like maybe you had the blanket on or something. Like, your body temperature was 99, whatever. But that's like an exaggeration. I thought they was gonna die. Oh my God. The other one, they blame others for everything. Energy vampires are very good at playing the blame game. They're always manipulating situations so that they're never at fault. They're quick to assign blame to everyone but themselves. The problem may be the weather, the train, the traffic, their loved ones, their colleagues, or even you, but it's never them. It's never them. It's everything else, but never them. For instance, they might say, I would have submitted this report on time, but the accounts team didn't send me the numbers till yesterday. And it's like, bro, like you're supposed to have this in by a certain time. And even if you did not have the accounts, the numbers, you could have put a note in there that you did not get the numbers on time to, but whatever, They blame others for everything. So he's blaming the account team for not doing the report on time. So I would have invited you to my party, but you're always so busy that I didn't think you'd be able to come. So there was a party, but they didn't invite you. But then they blame you as to why they didn't invite you. It's like, yo, like you could have invited me. Like you don't know what I'm doing, but it's like they blaming other things. Oh, I didn't think he was gonna come, so I didn't, but all you had to do was just pick up the phone and be like, oh, you want to come here? But they blame other things. They always leave you feeling worn out. Interacting with an energy vampire often elicits an unpleasant emotional reaction that leaves you feeling exhausted and worn out. You may experience negative emotions such as distress, worry, anger, guilt, shame, sadness, disappointment, and confusion. Negative emotions like these can contribute to mental health conditions such as depression, anxiety, and stress. They use people without giving any reason in return. They use people. They use people without giving them any reason as to why they're using them. They just want to use you. They just want your energy. Energy vampires want all your attention, your care, and emotional support, but are never willing to give you anything in return. Even if you ask for their help with something, they will make an excuse and bring the attention back to themselves. They use you for their emotional needs without giving you anything in return. That's what they do. Gotta pay attention to the shit. Nobody wanna, I'm in love. Like, oh my God, like, you can't be this fucking dense. Like, For instance, they might say, I'm sorry you lost your job. I would love to help you with your resume, but I'm swamped with cleaning my home. My kids have made such a mess. Can you help me with vacuuming? It's like you just lost your job, and then they want you to help them, but they just bypassed your whole thing of helping you with your resume. It's like, you piece of shit. I can't believe you're asking me for help with your resume when you know how upset I am about losing the bowling game. Can you bring me some tissues and ice cream? So it's like you want help with the resume, but then they lost the game. So then now it's like they just use you. They used you, and they don't even care about your feelings or what happened to you. They just reflect it back onto them to put the attention back on them. And it's just like, yo, like, you're not gonna help me. Like, I'm asking you to help me, and you're not gonna help me. Like, and now you talk about yourself again. Like, okay. How do you protect yourself if you are an empath? An empath, you just feel all these feelings. You feel everybody's emotions. And it can be overwhelming being an empath, and then you feel sorry for people when you always want to help them. And it's like, not everybody deserves your kindness and your help. But it's like, these are lessons in life, and you just have to learn from the experience. Like, don't drag it out for years. How do you protect yourself if you are an empath? These are some steps you can take to protect yourself against an energy vampire. Adjust your expectations. If the energy vampire is someone close to you, you may find yourself feeling upset and disappointed when they fail to reciprocate the support you've shown them. Like, they're not giving you that same support and the same kind of love or the same kind of affection that you're giving them, and then you want that same affection back. Like, they're not gonna give you that. So it's like, adjust your expectations. Like, you can't expect them to be there for you the way you are there for them, and understand that they're never going to show up for you. Seeing them for who they are can help you take the steps required to protect yourself against them. So it's like, you can't expect them to be there or to show up for you, or to, you need to see it for what it is. Like, this is what it is. Like, see it for what it is. Adjust your expectations. Another one is limit your exposure to them. You can set boundaries in your relationship with the person to limit your exposure to them as much as possible. For instance, if they're a colleague, you may have no choice but to work with them, but you can avoid eating lunch or getting coffee with them. Like, you don't have to be around them all the time if you have to work with them every day. Avoid having a lot of contact. Like, avoid them. Protect your emotional energy. Energy vampires feed off your emotional energy. If you do happen to interact with them, try to avoid getting them the reaction they want to their dramatic statements and complaints, because they feed off of your energy. So, and then it's like, you give them your energy, and it's like, you know what? Like, have no reaction. Like, don't react. Like, they can be dramatic, they could be complaining, they want a reaction out of you. That's how they feed. That's how they feed, is off the energy that you're giving them. Keep a neutral expression and simply shrug them off as they're not a big deal. If they don't get the reaction they're looking for, they will eventually lose interest and leave you alone. Another one, avoid arguing with them. You might find yourself feeling tempted to argue with the person's twisted logic, negative outlook, and exaggerated claims. However, doing so will only make you the villain in the next story. Instead, stay neutral and walk away from them. No reaction is bigger blow to them than a negative reaction. So it's like, when you argue with them, you're always going to be the villain. They're always going to make it look like you're the bad person or you're the aggressor, but then they're the one poking you, they're the one provoking you, they're the one wanting this reaction out of you. So, and then you just have to avoid confrontation, avoid arguing with them at all costs, because no reaction is a bigger blow to them than a negative reaction. So like by no reaction, by not acting out, not saying anything, let's just keep your cool. Keep your cool. And then they're gonna be like, oh my god, like it's gonna bother them more that you're quiet and you're not arguing with them than if you sit there and you argue with them, and then they make everybody else look at you like you're the bad guy, you're the crazy one, and like, oh my god, I can't believe that you're acting like, you know, they make it negative. They make you look negative, and then they're this wonderful person, and they're the fucking energy vampire. Learn to say no. If the person is asking you for something, avoid getting sucked into their vortex. Learn to say no. For instance, if they're asking you to help them with a project, you can say, I'm sorry, I can't, or oh no, I'm busy. You know, learn to say no. It's okay to say no. No, I'm not going there. No, I'm busy. No, I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm sorry. Oh, find somebody else to do it. The next one is cut them out of your life. If possible, cut the person out of your life and avoid interacting with them altogether. If you're a colleague or a family member you can't avoid, limit your interaction with them and distance yourself from them as much as possible. You know, when it's a family member or someone that you're close to, it could be a little hard to get away from them. But when it's somebody you don't know them, there's no blood relations, there's no connection, there's no connection. Like, you could easily just leave them alone, block them, delete them. What's that? Just block them. Like, you don't have to waste your time. Like, get the fuck out of here. But I'm going to put this link in the description box. I'm going to put this article in the description box. I have like 4 more articles to go, but I'm going to put them up separately. So I went into the Google meanings, and then this one was verywellmind.com, 5 signs of an energy vampire and how to cope. And it was written April 4th, 2023. It was updated April 4th, 2023. That's this year, by Sanjana Gupta. Medically reviewed by Rachel Goldman, PhD. So it's a real article. It's not just me talking my shit. Like, these energy vampires, like, anyone can be an energy vampire. And then it's like, if you don't know the signs, you don't know the warning, you don't know. You don't know, then it's just gonna be so hard to get away from them because you don't know that they're an actual danger to yourself. But that's it for this article. The link will be in the description box. Always leave with love.